Call a meeting to order of the Design Review Board, Thursday, December the 17th. And do I hear a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Dave made the motion. Can I hear a second?
I think somebody.
Alicia?
But she's on.
Okay.
Alicia seconded. Okay. All right. Consideration of the minutes for the meeting of November 19th, 2020. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Oh, do we need to vote on that one?
Consideration of the minutes. I think so.
Or the agenda?
Oh, didn't we do the agenda? That was the approval of the agenda. So now we're doing consideration of the minutes. Who wants to make a motion to approve the minutes? Don't be shy. Come on.
I'll wait.
Dave made the motion. Who wants to second?
Second.
Jen
Anybody
seconded.
hear Mark?
Yeah, we can hear you, Mark.
Okay,
Yeah.
I've lost all video, so I'm just here.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
We can see you.
Good.
Okay, so Jen seconded it. All's in favor?
All
Aye.
right.
All right, so this is a public hearing and consideration of DRB 2028 Martin North application to add a new fire pit area and privacy wall at Public Coast Brewery. The Martin North application to add a new fire feature and privacy fence to the existing exterior patio of Public Coast Brewery. The property is owned by Stevens Development Company, LLC, located at 264 East 3rd Street in a limited commercial zone. The application will be reviewed against the criteria of Municipal Code, Chapter 17, 44080 to 1744-100 Design Review Criteria. This is a quasi-judicial hearing. Does anyone object to the jurisdiction of the Design Review Board to hear this matter at this time? Does any commission member believe he or she has a conflict of interest or personal bias? Has any commission member had any ex parte contact or made a site visit?
Site visit.
Site visit.
Site visit.
Okay. All right. Let's have the staff report.
All right, this is a DRB 28, a request by Ryan Snyder of Martin North on behalf of Stevens Development, LLC, and Public Coast Brewery for major modifications to the exterior of an existing commercial building at 264 East 3rd. It's Zone C1, limited commercial. Application is reviewed for 1744-80 through 100. And so, quick summary. Proposed project is to construct an approximate 5 by 11 fire pit outdoor cocktail table feature in the existing outdoor seating area located in the southwesterly front yard concrete patio area, along with a new privacy wall along the southeasterly portion of the recently covered patio area near the entrance. 7-foot clear coat cedar wall will serve as a privacy fence between the neighboring commercial property. Plans do not appear to show any changes to the site or landscaping, as both features are in existing landscape areas and are not proposed just like an existing softscape. The subject property is surrounded by other C1 limited commercial areas, R3 and RM, mainly parking, other retail establishments and conference facilities, in one of the most highly trafficked locations of Cannon Beach. Many of the surrounding R3 and RM are non-conforming structures which do not adhere to the district's lot requirements. My comments are the proposal would screen the southeasterly patio area recently covered from the elements by DRB 18, and I missed the citation number there, but back about a year and a half ago, they came and put a covering over that southeasterly patio area, and it would screen from the neighboring property by a 21-foot slatted cedar 7-foot high wall extending to the roof roofing of the recently built structure. The DRB would consider if the wall is in keeping with the architectural features, textures, and proportional dimensions to complement the current features and surrounding environment. The fire pit feature is a growing trend in outdoor seating areas. Pelican Brewery, Driftwood are two of the more prominent locations, but there's been recent interest from other facilities with the COVID restrictions, forcing even more restaurants to seek outdoor seating solutions and amenities to complement these considerations. Fire pit will make use of an area currently given to deck chairs and cornhole leisure recreation. The drawing suggests that the existing landscaping will be maintained as is, and there will be no modifications to the site layout or landscaping, softscape, hardscape calculations. The site plan indicates that there should be little change in pedestrian flow or impact in ADA-related concerns. Finally, plan suggests there will not be any additional lighting proposed for the new features, but this should be verified for the record. Any questions?
Any questions of,
I believe sheet A5 shows new lights over the area where the pit will be.
oh, a string of lights you're looking at?
Yeah, there's two strings of lights, and those weren't there a day or two ago.
Okay, we will, yeah, we'll ask Jerry about that, and he can comment on that. Hey, Mark,
Yeah,
so have you tried to log back on? Is that what you're doing?
yeah, okay. Yeah, I was trying to come on by phone so I could see the screen, and
Oh, yeah, double.
Is it working?
Yeah. I'll turn the computer off
Okay.
if, yeah.
All right. So any other questions of Jeff?
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I do have a question. So that all of that vegetation that's on the east side of the patio up against the castaways remains. There's a big, it doesn't show it on this drawing, but there's a big cherry tree and something else that's in there. And it just looks to me.
That one there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shown.
Yeah. The on A6.
Yeah.
It doesn't look to me like they didn't draw, the architect didn't draw that in.
Yeah. Let's clarify that. That's a good point.
Okay. Is that's a kind of important part of their landscaping, I think. But it looks like the fence is going to be inset several feet from the Castaways building, right?
Right.
Well, we can ask the applicant.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I thought.
Okay. All right. So the pertinent criteria to be considered are noted in the staff report listed on the criteria sheets. Testimony, arguments, and evidence must be directed towards that criteria or other criteria in the comprehensive plan or municipal code, which the person testifying believes to apply to the decision. Failure to raise an issue accompanied by statements or evidence sufficient to afford the decision maker and the parties an opportunity to respond to the issue precludes appeal based on that issue. Prior to the conclusion of the initial evidentiary hearing, any participant may request an opportunity to present additional testimony, arguments, or evidence regarding the application. The design review board shall grant such requests by continuing the public hearing or leaving the record open for additional written testimony, arguments, or evidence. Persons who testify shall first receive recognition from the chair, state their full name and mailing address, and if appearing in a representative capacity, identify whom they represent. And we have a presentation by the applicant.
Barry?
Sorry, we have I mean, for the most part, we're just trying to make that end of the property just a little more inviting with the fire pit and everything. The string light component, I mean, I think I've seen string lights spring up at quite a few places seasonally in Cannon Beach. Down at the Warren House in the back 40. I want to say we occasionally put up lights at the gardens during the season, string lights. I don't think it's going to be a permanent fixture out there. The wall, yeah, we're not doing anything to the landscaping on the east side of the property. The landscaping, really, the main reason we're wanting to do this fence is at this time of year when the landscaping doesn't have a lot of foliage on it, we're looking at a bunch of plumbing and electrical and stuff that's coming out of the end of that eyesore building next door. So we're just trying to make it so we don't have to look at that year round.
Okay. All right. Are there any other proponents? I've lost my script. Are there any opponents? No opponents? Any staff response?
No, Mark, can you hear?
Yeah, I can
Okay.
hear.
I wanted to make sure I checked off that other one, so I wanted to make sure you were still there. Thanks. No, I don't have anything else.
Here, thank you.
Okay. And any additional statements, Jerry?
No, just trying to make that end a little warmer and inviting down there. That's about it.
Okay. All right. So close the public hearing and have the design review board discuss it. Who wants to start?
Since I was talking about the lights and the applicant mentioned that there, yes, there are other lights. I guess my question about those lights, I heard the word seasonal, but I believe some others in town do use them all year. And I wondered, I don't believe that west patio is fenced in any way. Is there any requirement for safety liability to keep that area lighted at night? I hope not. But
I think currently there's 3 or 4 ground lights along that west side, just a small little pagoda lights, I think. And then there's 2 floodlights on the brewery building. Just, again,
okay,
for lighting when people are out there.
Yeah.
Then the majority of the light is through the entrance area.
unless there's some safety reason, I would hope the lights would be turned out after business.
Oh, I don't see any problem with that.
Mhm.
Okay.
Hey, Mark, Mark, you're proposing that to be a condition there?
Yes, I would, if there's no reason for them to be on after business hours, such as safety, I'd like to, yes, include that as a condition.
Okay.
All right. Anybody else? Any other member want to chime in here?
I was looking at the location of the fireplace, and it seems to me that it's kind of crowding the front sidewalk area. And I'm wondering why that is, why it isn't moved back further toward the building. Seems like there's enough space that it could be.
I think our main goal there is just to make it so that people can go on around each end of it and everything.
Well, they're not going to go around the, what would that be, the south end, because it's up against the landscaping, the way it's drawn.
Yeah, that is true. It does look like it intrudes into the landscape strip there.
Yeah, that's the way I read it, is if it abuts that landscaping, and so they were not wanting people to go around that end of doesn't look like that is utilized as a.
Currently, we do have a little patio there on the west side, just behind a door that we don't really use anymore. So that would be, make that access to it better as well by having it open on the north end of the fire pit. There's 4 chairs, I believe, back there.
Yeah, I guess the concern there on sheet A2, you can see that it's kind of cantilevered out over that. To me, it's kind of a design feature to be.
So would the concern just to bring it back from that a little bit? I mean, I guess part of it is we don't want to lose very much length of it, but if we bring it back much, then people are going to be tromping through that flower bed possibly.
Yeah, I think that's what the likely concern is that, you know, whatever it takes to keep people from pulling chairs around and utilizing that planting bed as a, you know, part of that table, because it does come within a couple feet of that sidewalk.
Well, it intrudes into the landscape strip, a couple of feet, is that what you mean?
Yeah, and see, so that to me looks like, you can see where they put the chairs, that it looks like it's kind of a design feature to kind of have an effect of the tabletop going out over the landscape. I just would hate to see if the ground is at the same level, which it looks like on the elevation as that, then I would hate to see people just trample that landscaping and pull chairs around over to the seating. If the seating's movable.
I think
Yeah.
most of the plant matter in there is a 1.5 to 2.5 feet tall. So, and it's a pretty full bed.
No, the seats are movable. It looks like from A5.
Yeah, they're just I mean, we haven't picked a design, but they're either going to be a no back bar stool or just a, you know, low back bar stool.
Well, it seems like instead of changing the design of the fire pit, the goal would just be to avoid people tromping through the bushes and I in the landscape there. I haven't seen how tall and I guess like robust those bushes and things are. Would just an option be some sort of, I guess, I don't know, like simplistic like fencing there, like very small, but I wouldn't want people to step on it. Something that would suggest just don't walk through it.
Yeah, I think on the other end in front of the roof that we had added 1.5 years ago, we did quite a bit of stepping stones through that, friendly and just allowing that easier access, and because people were tromping through the flowers and we had more seasonal flowers there, so they weren't as established. But yeah, if we need to, I think part of it is really just to get it out close to the street too, so that people see that, you know, as an option as they're driving by. So, you know, if we need to do something, I think we'd probably like to stay more organic than a fence, because it seems like we had a fence down there at one point that was 2.5, 3 feet tall. And people, you know, taller people like myself would just straddle it.
Yeah,
Just go
maybe some,
over it.
like you're mentioning with the stepping stones, just an indication to use that.
Okay.
Looks like it extends 1 foot 10 inches on A4. It extends 1 foot 10 inches out over the bed.
You can see there's a pretty good shot of the bed. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
On what sheet?
On the Google, I just brought it up, Mike.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think my personal feeling is that it should be held back to the line of the planter and leave the planter alone, not go out over it. Anybody else?
Seems like a good approach to me.
I would tend to agree with that.
Does it note how wide the planter bed is? Does it
Like
say
it's
it's
5. I thought it was 5 feet, but I'd say it's 5 feet, yeah.
Yeah. Probably about four or five. Yeah.
Okay, any other comments about the fire pit or the fence?
I guess I would just like to say that this month, as opposed to last month, I feel like we have really good plans to see. I think they identified the materials. We've got elevation drawings. We've got a landscape plan. We've got, a site plan, everything that we need to be able to have a good discussion and make decisions. And I just feel like we didn't really have that last month. So I appreciate the completeness of this application.
Agreed. I agree with that. Right on. Okay, so any other comments? Somebody want to make a motion? On the a motion to approve the site plan.
I move we approve the site plan with the fire pit being moved a bit to the north to clear the planter bed.
we're thinking we can, flush that out with the bed? Is that kind of what everybody's thoughts are?
Actually, the hearing's closed, Jerry, but
Sorry.
what, do you want to clarify what you're saying? You want, so.
I guess that's fine. I mean, I'll let you guys continue. Sorry about that.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve the site plan with the fire pit ending at the, on the patio, not extending into the planter. Is there a second?
Second.
Jen, I think Jen beat Mark to the punch.
Yep.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, unanimous. I don't know if we have an architectural design per se. Well, let's say the fence. Is there a motion to approve the architectural design for the fence?
Lighting condition, wouldn't that come here as well?
Sure.
And the fire pit as well, I think.
Yeah, let's say both the fire pit and the lighting and the fence.
I move that we approve the architectural design of the fence, the lighting, and the fire pit as shown on the drawings.
And is there any condition upon the lights being regulated to the business hours?
Yes, that's what the condition on the lights is.
Okay.
I mean, otherwise, other than that, I think the chart controls how much light power, the lumens is the word I'm looking for, is well spelled out what they can have in a retail setting.
Okay. So Alicia, would you want to amend to the regulated?
I'll accept the friendly amendment.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion by Alicia to approve the architectural design with the condition that the lights be regulated to go out after business hours. Is there a second?
Second.
Who was that? Mark seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And we can dispense with the landscape design since there's no change to the landscaping.
Okay.
All right. So Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you.
All right.
Sure.
Okay, a motion for the chair to sign the appropriate order. You want to make that motion?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second.
Mark and Dave, I think.
Mark and Dave.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Go to the order. Anybody have anything they want to bring up?
Let me just unmute just to see if anybody wants to.
I have a,
Jeff,
Yes.
did you have anything we needed to
I
come to me about that shed? Anything there to finish
no,
up?
I think we're good on that, Mark. I'll talk to you tomorrow about that. We were in the city council retreat.
Right.
Yeah, so
Yep.
I'll get back with you on that tomorrow. But I do
Thank
have a short, brief PowerPoint I'd like to share with you guys on kind of procedural matters. Because if you guys don't have, if you want to do that now, Mike?
Sure.
Okay. Okay. And I'm glad that Alicia just mentioned this because this is something that we're wanting to go into. We've been kind of promising you guys this or I have been for some time. And then we got the approval just today at the retreat as a kind of not a final approval, that'll be in January. But we got the approval to kind of move ahead with the code audit. So one of the things I wanted to talk about was some procedural matters, because what I'd like you guys to do is look through our design review ordinance over the next month, and then we come back next month at a work session and kind of review what's working and what's not working within our current code. Because what I'd like to do is, once we start our joint sessions with the city council and the planning commission, I'd like to have both you and the planning commission have a review of your own ordinances to decide, you know, what's working and what's not working. What are we utilizing properly and not? And so first I wanted to kind of give you guys, here's the hearing dates that I have for the coming year for the DRB. I don't think any of them will conflict, but we'll check for November and December of next year just to make sure of that for the holidays and if anything else conflicts. That can also be found on our website. If you go under your design review board page, you can pull up when the meeting dates or when the deadline are for those items. You guys from Title II, the administration and personnel, your proposals that are subject to design review board provisions, is it your powers and duty, zoning ordinance, make recommendations and decisions in those development proposals as provided for by the city zoning ordinance. Planning commission, of course, you're working under ordinances that must go through the planning commission to get approval, that recommendations that go to the city council. So you're all kind of aligned, and I want you guys to kind of be on the same page once we get to that. And I really don't anticipate it starting until the actual joint meetings until early summer. So it's not going to be something we're going to start immediately. They pushed that back because of the school and the transportation plan that will be coming in January and February. But under the zoning, like I said, the planning commission is supposed to periodically review zoning ordinances and make amendments. These are what's come before the planning commission each year, how many applications is going from right to left on this, not left to right. And you can see it levels off to about 1 or 2 land use action items before them per month. And that's the different ones that come before them. You guys have everything under the purpose section of 1744. So I'd like to see you guys look through chapter 44 of title 17. And that's what guides your decisions. And the purpose of the DRB is to exercise aesthetic, I can't say that, aesthetic judgment over development projects within the city in order to maintain the desirable character of the community. The community character is defined by having charm in the design of buildings, keeping buildings small in scale, honoring the beauty and ecology of the city's natural setting, and recognizing that the arts are an integral part of the community. That's your purpose. Okay, let me see. There we go. And your applicability. Okay, so here's one of the things that will likely come up during the code review and audit is that currently all new construction or new development, except for single family residence, mobile home, modular home, and their accessory structures come before you. Any exterior alteration to an existing non-residential use, except for minors, and any alteration of site improvements, such as lighting, landscaping, or off-street parking, except for minors, come to you. Any exterior alteration to an existing duplex, triplex, or multifamily, and that comes to you except for minors. And even public improvements. So these listed 1 through 7 also come before you. But now what do we ask? And so this gets to what Alicia was talking about in completeness, okay? So when they come before us, an applicant, these are what they see. This is 1 page and the 2nd page of our application process. As you can see, it's really nothing. It's 1 description and then telling you to give us 10 copies of pretty much everything. So we ask for very little. And this is a recent example. This is the one down at sea level. That was last month. And like Alicia said, a lot of what we ask for, you know, you kind of got to fill in the blanks on some of it. And so it's definitely not to the specifics that are required within the submittal requirements. These are the actual submittal requirements from the zoning code, which has a size analysis diagram, which lists all of these things that should be shown on it, site photographs. These are the design review plan that's required with all of these requirements, including, and I'll put, I want you to see under 20 there, a written summary showing the following: the square footage contained in the area proposed to be developed, the percentage of the lot covered by structures, percentage covered by parking areas or paved areas, and then those landscaped areas. And so when I asked Vito last one, you know, we need these. We need the lots covered by structures, parking areas, softscape, hardscape. This is why we need this. And it just traditionally hasn't been done here. And so we're going to start requiring this. And what I wanted you guys to do is to look at these ordinances. And when you get to E, which is the landscape plan, F, the architectural drawings, and then architectural models shall be submitted for all new construction other than duplexes or triplexes. Alterations to existing structures. Are these required? Do we even see these? Why, when and where should these be required? Property surveys, energy measures, DRB. We have quite a robust ordinance here. And I think that is what is so daunting for a lot of people. They say, we really have to fill all this out for such as the application that we just saw. You know, it's a lot to ask. And so then we have these criteria that the following criteria shall be used in evaluating site development plans. The number adjacent to the criterion represents the relative importance of that criteria, with 3 being the most important, and then I guess 2 to 1 being less. And so everyone has seen this because this is at the end of their staff reports, every single one I do. But I've never, ever seen any of us use this. And so I want us to take a hard look at what we're doing and why we're doing it and what we're asking of applicants and what we should be asking of applicants moving forward. Because this leads to a lot of what we're going to be talking about is what we ask for is often what we get. And if we don't ask for enough materials, what happens is both for the design review board and for the planning commission can lead to, let's just call them riskier cases because we don't have it documented and what we expect to see and what we want to have at this as part of the plans. And which can lead to legal issues and those things that we're seeing more and more of as we go forward. I brought up before, earlier in our discussions about major and minor modifications and how I would like you guys to look at 1744-110 and look at that, because the way we handle minor modifications is not truly how it's written. So what are the minor projects? I'll send out a list before the next meeting. We do about 50 at least minor modifications a year. So I'll give you a review of what we're doing for minor modifications and how we incorporate that moving forward. These are the last times the comp plan were updated, and you can see how many different citations for each one. And you'll see the majority was written back in 1979. It was frequently kind of amended during the 80s and then a flurry in the 90s. But really, we haven't done much work on our comp plan lately. I approached about a year and a half ago the City Council with the budget for a vision, comprehensive plan, strategic plan, and ordinances, and gave them this as the budget projection for that task. We decided to table that for a while, and like I said, just recently we've come back with a code audit. And so what that code audit does is it kind of gets rid of this visioning portion, addresses looking at the comp plan in this coming year, and they've projected 60,000 at least to get us to July, and then we can reevaluate it more to look further into the code audit. We're not going to be doing a strategic plan, but I likely think that we'll be seeing ordinance changes in the 21-22 fiscal year. And so these were the issues that I brought up a year ago with the Planning Commission and the council when we were talking about the proposed comprehensive plan and visioning exercise. And the ones that are now red are ones that we're either addressing or will address with this code audit or our transportation study, our natural hazard mitigation update. So I think we're making a lot of advancement in the next 2 years. And so I'm pretty excited for that. I think we're going to have a lot of time and a lot of energy that we're going to be putting forth into this. We're going to go out for a consultant to help us with this code audit, and we'll start that process, like I said, first, hopefully in the early summer. And so I'm going to stop sharing the screen and then take any questions you guys have. I really appreciate that Alicia brought this up. You know, the one that we saw tonight had much better plans. It's things that we can actually make informed decisions about. But I want you to take this along with some of the other examples I'll be sending out in the coming week and look at that, compare it to our ordinances and what we really want to see in the future, what's working and what's not working now.
That sounds great. Yeah, I think it's well overdue. And I think, I've traditionally, the complexity of plans kind of dictates how much we have required. I know Mark and Reinmar before him, if it's a new building for Martin Management or a new commercial building, they typically had to go get an architectural firm to do serious work like this. I mean, for the fire pit and the little fence, I mean, that's probably I don't know, that's probably $10,000 worth of drawings for a fire pit and a little fence. So it's a matter of scale. And I think previous planners have probably said, for something like sea level, they kind of cut them some slack because, it's not, it's a small thing and, they don't have a lot of money and, I mean, it's kind of that kind of approach in a small town.
Yeah.
But maybe it shouldn't be that way. I mean, if they're going to make any kind of major improvements, not minor improvements, they should get a real set of plans, and the landscaping plans should be complete as well. I mean, there's some recent projects in town that the landscape plans have been, or the landscaping has been, pretty terrible. And not on your watch necessarily, but
I do think, yeah, I mean, that's a great point because I went down just this past week and did a site visit for the one on the south end. That, remember Cannabis West was the one. I think Dave and Mark were also involved in that one as well. And so I went down there to just do an update because they poured that paving down there and said, you guys didn't leave the landscape island out. And so I think Mike McEwen's going to be going down there to cut that back out. And
right.
So, yeah, I do think that, these are things that we're going to have to start.
And maintenance of a landscape. I mean, fresh foods, jumps to mind. They've never done anything there to keep their landscape up. They put in a few shrubs and forgot about them. But I think continual monitoring.
Yeah.
And then the big deal now that I hear is should we be reviewing single family dwellings over a certain size and in a certain location, such as along Hemlock or on the ocean front or in very visible locations, so I think that's something that we could really be talking about when we have a work session.
Well, I just wanted to bring this up tonight. I would like to keep this as a work session item, like I said, at least on the next 2 meetings so that we start talking about what we think isn't working and what we'd like to see. And that's what we'll start addressing at the next one. So feel free to reach out to me as well. If you have, and I always encourage others as well to ask other communities, look at other communities and see what they do. There's communities that you love to go to, you visit or whatever, or you have friends or family that live there and you like what they do. Guarantee you, most of those would likely have a design review of some sort. I don't know about Oregon, but I know from the South that's the case. So you might also check out their websites and see what they're doing and what's encouraging that. So any other thoughts or questions?
All right. Well, I guess we're adjourned and thank you very much. And we'll see you next month.
All right. Thank you all.
Thank
Okay.
you. Good night.
And happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays.
And Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah.
Yeah.
Happy Kwanzaa.
Yeah. Festivus.